You with me? Alright, so remember, keep in mind, guys, that the hypothalamus is not the master gland, but it's the part of the brain that stimulates the master gland, which is known as the pituitary gland, right? Alright, so if you guys know that, you're good with that so far. I'm just going to start going down on that same page 204. The pituitary gland, how many portions? It has two portions. I'm not going to ask you guys, I'm just going to tell you. It has two portions, the anterior and the posterior. The anterior, according to this illustration right here, has prolactin, FSH, and LH, meaning follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. It's got the ICSH on the next one. You know how it says FSH and LH, but in parentheses it has ICSH. Remember when I was reading this yesterday, it said that the ICSH is a luteinizing hormone for the males. That's the main. It's still luteinizing hormone, but if you guys ever see that ICSH, it's referring to now the males, the testes, versus the ovaries for the females. Then you have the TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone. You have the adrenocorticoid thyroid hormone. And then you have the growth hormone. These are essentially, guys, all the hormones for the anterior pituitary gland. Okay, do you guys see them? Some of you look confused. On this page, on the arrows stem from the anterior pituitary. Okay, you guys see it? All right, so my advice is take a sheet of paper, write down anterior pituitary gland. I would write it on the board, but that thing's in the way. And I tried moving it, it's heavy.
What is it?
It's a thing for the computer, yeah. It's something for computers, I don't know.
They're all in there.
Oh, is that what it is? I could move it, but I don't do fit manual. I did enough manual work yesterday wiping the board. I'm done. That's it, no mas.
So anterior what?
Oh, yeah, I'll do better.
Use half.
Yes, ma'am?
No, I said use half.
Yeah, I know. Alright, so I want you guys to write this. The anterior.
You okay?
I gotta go home.
I'm like, what?
Oh man, the anterior pituitary gland. Alright, let's talk about the follicle stimulating hormone real quick. Follicle, is that how you spell it? Follicle? Follicle stimulating hormone, also known as FSH. Find that one in that page that I was showing you. Now let's look at it. Now, follicle, you guys know what a follicle is. Follicle is a small portion of something, okay? It's encapsulated usually. During the woman's cycle, you have your uterus, okay, you have your fallopian tubes. Looks like the beast, huh?
Boo.
Looks like the devil. Which,
How do you know when he's listening?
it's anatomy, it's inside there. Alright, and so you have your ovaries, okay? Looks like a bull, right? That's what it looks like, okay? Inside the ovaries, oh, well, mind you, this is a little lower, I'm sorry. It's like hooked up to it. It's got these, I forget what they're called, but they grasp onto the ovary. All women have ovaries, right? Okay, and then males have testes, right? So we have our scrotal sac. Okay, and you have one testy here. You have another testy there. On top you have your epididymis. Kind of looks like something else. Anyway, these, when I talk about the gonads, remember the gonads, I'm talking about the ovaries for females and testes for males. Now, FSH, the follicle stimulating hormone, works on both the ovaries and the testes. When it works on the ovaries, it's called your regular follicle stimulating hormone. If you look in your paper, when it points at, when FSH and luteinizing hormone point at the testes, it's the ICSH. You guys see that? The ICSH, all it's telling you that it's for the testes. I'm not going to test you on that. That's very in-depth. Okay, but just understand that so you won't get confused. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, okay, both work on the gonads, male and female. Of course, for the females, what does it do? It produces something called the ovum, or your egg. Every time you guys ovulate, the women ovulate, I'm saying like you guys, making it too personal. Every time a woman ovulates, they give out the ovum. The ovum comes out, and it gets fertilized about here, okay? The male produces sperm, The follicle stimulating hormone helps in producing that sperm. And the luteinizing hormone also helps in aiding in this process. So the sperm comes in, because this is the cervix right here, goes in, and it travels up there, and hopefully you have conception. That's how it occurs, right? These are the hormones that make sure that the endometrium, meaning the inside of the uterus, the quality, meaning it's like the condition, the environment of the endometrium, the inside of the uterus, is perfect for the sperm to swim up there. That it's perfect for the ovum to travel down here. Make sure it's not too hot, not too cold. The pH is good. All those matters that dictate whether conception occurs or not, these are the two hormones that are responsible for that. Does that make sense?
So always it occurs in the tubes, the fallopian tubes?
What goes in the tube? Only the ovum and the sperm.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is, remember how we talked about hormones becoming systemic? Okay? They travel throughout the whole body, but they have a certain effect in this area, in the genitalia, in the gonads. So the hormone is what tells the ovaries, the chemicals that come inside, and at a cellular level, they tell the ovaries that, hey, 28 days, it's time to release the ovum. Now, when we get to reproductive system, which you guys are going to take home next week, the ovaries go through a little cycle, okay? And this is called the Graafian follicle, meaning it's got a little cycle. The ovum first is immature, then it starts becoming more, and then it starts splitting up, and then it starts doing all these crazy things. Eventually, it's ready. These hormones is what keeps this going, what keeps the cycle going, and it says, okay, we're ready, okay, and then it actually comes out, of the egg, and it travels in there, okay? So do you understand what the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone do?
What is reminds all this?
It keeps everything, yes?
I understand what the follicle stimulating is. The hormone that pretty much produces for the males the sperm and the women's the egg, correct?
Yes.
But what is the LH?
The luteinizing hormone is a hormone that maintains the integrity of that particular structure. Meaning, if it's too dry, if the pH is not right, you guys understand that conception is a complicated process. That's why you have a lot of females or males that have a hard time actually having children. So these two hormones regulate this whole process. They maintain the integrity of the endometrium. They maintain the acidity, the pH, and all those elements that come together. Does that make sense?
It was called luteinizing hormone?
Luteinizing hormone, L-E-U, I think.
That is LH. Oh.
No, that's the abbreviation. Okay. Does that make sense though? That's what the luteinizing hormone is. And the follicle stimulating hormone, which you guys have to know is, what are the responsibilities? Like, what do they do? And we know that they deal with the formation of the egg, production of the sperm, and also with conception. Let's see, where are we at? All right, we talked about luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. Let's talk about prolactin. Okay, now these are all hormones that are where? Where are they produced from?
So
The anterior pituitary one. Let's talk about prolactin. Can someone read what prolactin says? And also look at lactin. It should give you a hint as to what it says.
Prolactin is stimulated by prolactin releasing hormone. It's a hormone secreted by the anterior lobe of the pituitary.
Pituitary.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
stimulates milk production in women following pregnancy.
Yeah, so now, think about the pregnancy, right? We have conception. Do women start producing milk right away?
No.
No. Usually a couple of, maybe, I've seen it happen, it's not milk, but it's a rendition of milk. About a month before pregnancy, even maybe a little bit before that, you start producing this milky substance, right? At a certain time, once the baby's born, okay, certain hormones are released. They make the uterus contract. We're talking about oxytocin. When that happens, it stimulates the release of prolactin. Prolactin, you don't have to know this, what I just told you right now. Just know that prolactin stimulates the, that's an ugly breast. But you guys get the gist of it, right? There's a breast, okay,
Okay,
it
the
produces
prolactin
milk.
stimulates what?
So prolactin stimulates production of milk. Yeah, prolactin. I understand lactin, lactate, talks about milk. Okay. Any questions on FSH, LH, or prolactin so far? Okay, that's why this illustration right here, guys, is really good because it shows you an illustration as well as to what it's actually doing. Okay. Let's see.
So, just one question.
Yes.
So, will they maintain what? The FSH and LH, they maintain it what?
So, okay, let me tell you exactly what it is. The follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone both deal with the production of the ovum. With the follicle stimulating hormone, remember when I was showing you the graphene follicle, don't quote me on the spelling, which was the actual ovary. Okay, the ovary, and remember how I told you there's a chain, then eventually it opens up and the egg comes out, or the ovum comes out. Okay, FSH deals with that. Luteinizing hormone deals with menstruation, meaning when you talk about menstruation, what does that mean? You're bleeding out, right? So luteinizing hormone deals with menstruation and the preservation of the endometrium, depending on what's happening. If you're pregnant, are you going to start bleeding out again?
No.
You're not supposed to, right? So make sure that doesn't happen. It maintains the integrity of the endometrium. Make sure that the pH and everything else is fine. Endometrium meaning the inside of the uterus. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Are you guys sure you got? I'll spend some more time. That's what tutoring is for.
The LH
The
is
luteinizing
only for
hormone.
women?
No. It's both of them are for males.
Oh, right, for, the other side, you were just talking about the LH that preserves the menstruation, and preservation of the.
Yeah, that's what it does for women. Does it preserve anything for menstruation for men? No. It deals with the production of sperm. Both of those hormones.
Okay. but
Okay.
That's it,
That's it for the male.
for the male.
For the male, and it's also known as luteinizing hormone, ICHS. Okay, I'm not going to test you on that, but it's right here. Look, just so you could understand, because they both do the same thing. They deal with reproductive mechanisms, right? So if you look at the illustrations, FSH and LH deal with the ovary right here, right? It deals with what I just told you, the graphene follicle. LH particularly with the continuity of the endometrium. When it comes to FSH and luteinizing hormone for males, it deals with the production of sperm. That's all you have to worry about for males, production of sperm, because there's nothing else really we do. Okay? Okay. Any other questions? You guys good with that? All right, cool. Prolactin stimulates production of milk. You guys got that part as well? Is there any confusion as to the LH? Really, if there is, I'll do it again.
I'll just put my recording on repeat. I'm just kidding.
No. No, you guys need to know this, that for the LH and the FSH are both known as gonadotropic hormones. Gonads mean what? Deals with the male's reproductive parts, right? And the females. The follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone, you guys know what that does for the female, right? For the male, this is all it does, okay? Follicle stimulating hormone deals with production of sperms. The luteinizing hormones deal with the regulation of the hormones that deal with the production of sperm. Does that make sense? So it's always going to be the production of sperm. All right. Follicle stimulating hormone, thyroid. Let's do thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay. Thyroid. Or T. Oops. Now, the anterior pituitary gland actually produces this. But if it's the thyroid stimulating hormone, what gland does this hormone stimulate?
Thyroid.
The thyroid gland. Now, the thyroid gland releases what?
T4, T3.
There you go. Okay. So the thyroid gland releases T3, T4, and calcitonin. You guys remember that?
Yes, now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah. So thyroid gland, remember, all these hormones, guys, that the anterior pituitary gland produces, they stimulate other parts of the body to do something. Okay? So again, the thyroid stimulating hormone is released by the anterior pituitary gland. Okay? It's one of the 6 that we talked about. This in turn stimulates a thyroid gland right here. It stimulates it. And this is responsible for releasing your T3, your T4, and your calcitonin. We know that calcitonin deals with regulating what? Calcium levels, right? And your T3 and T4 deal with what? Metabolism. That's all you guys have to know. Okay? They deal with metabolism. Please don't only know them as T3 and T4. Know them as tri and know them as thyroxine. Okay? Please know the names for them.
So it's calcium, right?
Yeah, calcitonin deals with the regulation of calcium. Please know that. Okay?
T3 and T4 are what?
Metabolism. Yeah. That's good. Okay, cool. Let's move on. What else does the anterior pituitary gland produce? Secrete. Let's see. It also says ACTH. What does ACTH stand for? Can someone tell me? Let's turn the page. Page 205. Adrenal.
Anterior? No.
Yeah.
Adrenocorticotropic
Adrenocorticotropic.
Adrenal, medulla, and cortex.
Yeah. So, but first of all, I want to know that the adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. Sorry, I mean that's how it is. Whoever came up with these names should be stabbed. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. Okay. You guys remember what tropic hormones are? Okay, I talked about it in the beginning. Tropic hormones are hormones that tell other body parts what to do. So that's why this hormone that's released from here is going to go tell the adrenal gland what to do. That's all it is. They stimulate other glands. So once it leaves the pituitary gland, it becomes systemic, of course, and it stimulates the adrenal glands to do something. That's why it's called tropic. So if you start memorizing what tropic means, and it's in the beginning of the packet, by the way. So this will help you guys out. Know what tropic means, okay? Adrenal gland, okay? Corticoid is meaning steroids, tropic hormone. So that's what it actually means. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. So the anterior pituitary gland releases ACTH and stimulates what? No. Listen, let's go back.
Hormones to tell them?
No, hold on. Let's go back real quick. The anterior pituitary gland releases adrenocorticotropic hormone. What does adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulate? Okay, there we go. Adrenal glands. Okay, now we have the adrenal glands. Now, if you guys want to see the hormones responsible for those, go to page 205 and it'll tell you. Okay? Someone said that I think it was you, Miss Gitali. How does the adrenal gland split up?
Adrenal, medulla, and
Cortex.
adrenal cortex. Inside
Okay.
one is the medulla.
It's the medulla. Okay. What hormones are secreted are released from the medulla?
Adrenal,
Huh?
adrenal,
Okay, adrenaline, yeah. Adrenaline, which is also known as what? Epinephrine and nor, same thing. Okay, yeah, epinephrine and norepinephrine. You guys remember that? Okay, epinephrine, norepinephrine, are the real important ones. They're the two big because they deal with the fight or flight. You know, you're gonna fight or you're gonna fly, whichever one. I usually fly away. Okay. Then you have what's the other part of the adrenal gland?
Cortex.
Yeah, this right here, from here to here, it's called the cortex. The adrenal cortex. What's the cortex responsible for releasing?
Sex hormones.
Sex hormones. Okay, good. You remember that one. We have. Pieces of fire. That's not a fire hazard. Okay, so the adrenal cortex produces mineralocorticoids. Okay, meaning minerals, right? Electrolytes. Okay. What else do we have?
Is that all part of the cortex?
This is all part of it. This is one of the hormones that the cortex releases.
Okay.
Mineralocorticoids. Okay, we have a couple more. Okay.
They're here, but I just can't then.
Okay, if you guys go to page 205, under where it says, the section where it says adrenals, okay? The reason why it's called suprarenals, why is it called suprarenals?
Because it's on the kidney.
On the kidneys, good job. Alright, so we've talked about the medulla already, the adrenal medulla. We said epinephrine, norepinephrine. They're called catecholamines, but you don't have to know that just yet. Adrenal cortex produces mineralocorticoids. What else? What's on top of mineralocorticoids?
Corticosteroids.
We have corticoids. Okay, so let me talk about these real quick. Corticoids are steroids, things that reduce inflammation. Mineralocorticoids are minerals. Okay, minerals. And what's the last one? Well, not the last one, but for these three, it's glucocorticoids. Okay, you said sex hormones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right beneath that, it talks about sex hormones, androgens, estrogen, and progesterone. Okay, for male and female. All I really want you guys to know is sex hormones. You guys want to go above and beyond? Go ahead and know androgens and estrogen and progesterone. That's fine. Okay, know those as well. That's you should. I don't think I test you on them. It'll make things easier though, because it specifically it lets you know, like, oh, the sex hormones. Well, we know some for males, some for females. Okay, androgens stimulate what, male or female?
Male.
Both.
Androgens stimulate males, guys. Androgens, estrogen and progesterone,
Oh, okay.
females. Okay. You guys really confused right now?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, good. It's supposed to, because this is the endocrine system. It's no joke. Let me erase this real quick. Okay. I would say I'll take you guys out to breakfast, but there's a lot of you, so never mind.
$1 menu?
It's okay.
That's what I was thinking, dollar menu, but even like that, that's still too much.
Wow.
All right, so look. Very much. Maybe if I write nicer, you guys will get it. Adrenal gland. What does adrenaline mean? Adrenal
Are we
makes you
going
think
over
of
the same subject?
same thing.
Okay.
Okay, adrenal gland. It's adrenaline, right?
Yes.
Because of mescatalin, we know that adrenaline is usually epinephrine or epinephrine. That's a whole fight or flight thing, okay? So we should start associating those two. Let's draw the adrenal gland once more. Okay. The adrenal gland has several hormones. Okay, we have the medulla part of the structure of the adrenal gland, and we have the cortex. Let's always start with the medulla. Okay, if you guys have to write this out for your exam on the side after I give you guys a scansion, you guys just write it out so you guys can memorize it. That's fine. The medulla is the inside. The inside is like really important. Okay, so I want you guys to think of epinephrine, norepinephrine as really important, or the internal drive to fight or flight. Okay, because it's inside the medulla. So the medulla is responsible for your catecholamines, but know them as epinephrine. epinephrine and norepinephrine. Miss Jessica, what are these responsible for?
Adrenaline.
Good. Adrenaline. Okay. So if adrenaline getting you ready for what?
Fight your
Fight or flight. Okay. Good. Remember that as well. Okay. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, fight or flight. Medulla, the internal drive to fight or flight. However you guys want to memorize it, that's how I do it. Okay. Again, this is medulla. Now the cortex is the outer part. Okay. The cortex has 4 basic hormones that we're going to be talking about, okay? It has your corticoids. Notice how it does not have the word tropic in it? Because tropic, again, means it stimulates other hormones to do something, other glands to do something. This one straight just says corticoids. Mineralocorticoids. Okay, because it deals with minerals. And what's the last one? Glucocorticoids. Know them in this order. Okay.
Specific order?
For the reason, so it can help you memorize them. Corticoids. Every other one is going to have this word on it. Corticoids. Mineralocorticoids. Glucocorticoids.
Because it finds in the cortex, that's
Yeah, because it's found in the cortex. That's correct. It's all found in the cortex. Okay. Another way to memorize this is just, if you think of the cortex, think of the umbrella term, and these are the 2 ones, mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids. Okay? What do glucocorticoids release?
good.
Something with glucose. What do mineralocorticoids release?
Mhm.
Something with minerals. This is sweet and salty. Sweet, so the best things in the world, okay? Don't quote me on this because I'll get fired. Sweet, salty, and what else?
Sex hormones.
Sour.
Sex. Talked about the three best things in the world. Memorize them. And the reason why I say this is because there's a question that asks you, because the adrenal gland is known as the sweet, salty, and the sex gland. It's known as that because it deals with salty, sweets, and sex. Okay? So memorize it like that. If anyone ever asks you, what's the hormone that deals with sweet, salts, and sex? It's the... It's adrenal cortex to be specific, yeah. It's adrenal gland, yeah. Okay? The 3 S's. I just realized that right now. Sweets, salts, and sex. The 3 S's. Memorize that, please. That's a test question, too. That's where I got it from. Okay? 3 S's. Sweets, salts, and sex. These are multiple choice questions, so I'm not going to ask you to write them down off of memorization. If you know them, if you kind of get it right now, you'll get it. Sweet, salt, and sex. Sweet, salt, and sex. Okay? It's going to be the adrenal cortex because the adrenal medulla deals with what?
Epinephrine.
Epinephrine, norepinephrine. Okay? Any questions on the adrenal gland? All right.
So, before you're ready.
That's fine.
So the ACTH stimulates the adrenal gland?
That's correct.
Because that's the hormone, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so the adrenal gland, then you separate it, and then that's what?
They release their own products.
The adrenal gland releases
That's two
the cortex and the medulla, or?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. The adrenal gland is the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's separated into 2 parts. The inner part, the medulla, releases a specific type of hormone. The cortex releases another type of hormone.
So separated into hormones.
Yeah. They also release hormones. Okay. Mineralocorticoids deal with regulating your minerals in your body. All of them. Glucocorticoids deal with sugar, and sex, well, deals with sex. Okay. It deals with not like the action of copulation, but it deals with the production of certain things, sperm, ovum, so on and so forth, maintaining the inside of the endometrium, things like that. Any questions, guys?
Do you confused me because you just
Yeah,
said that, and then
because-
this is where the other hormone, the
Yeah.
FHS just kicked in?
They all help to do the same thing, guys. They all help to do the same thing. Okay, mind you, remember when I was talking about luteinizing hormone? Okay, and I said luteinizing hormone is also used for males, right? Do you guys remember what luteinizing hormones do for males?
Yeah.
It just regulates the hormones that produce the sperm. Remember I said that? What are the hormones that produce the sperm? They're there, the androgens. Okay, you don't have to know that detail. The endocrine system, guys, in its depth is very complex. And when you talk about the physiology at the cellular level of all these components, it's complicated. 1 week isn't enough to memorize this stuff. Okay, you need at least 3 or 4 months of repetitive instruction on this system to really memorize everything. Okay, I want you guys to be able to memorize it in a simple way. Sex hormones just deal with sex things. That's all I'm going to ask you guys. I'm not going to ask you guys which the testes. I'm not going to ask you that. Okay, it's just sex. Okay, you know that estrogen and progesterone, they do males or females? Basic. Okay, may I erase it now? What other hormone do we have left?
ADH? No.
ADH, okay. Let's talk about ADH. Okay, what does ADH stand for?
Is that still considered in the anterior?
Yeah, it's produced by the no, ADH is posterior, I'm sorry, you're right. Still, we're talking about the
Anterior.
anterior. Yeah, sorry, anterior.
The bone and soft tissues.
Okay, that's what it, what's the
GH.
hormone? GH, okay, good. I like GH. What does the growth hormone do?
I,
What does the growth hormone do? Growth.
They grow bones.
There you go. Alright, so growth hormone deals with growing, particularly in long bones. Okay, tissues as well. Bones is a type of tissue. Okay, if you guys see the page, you guys look at your, where is the growth hormone
It's
here?
not.
Yeah, it's on where it says on the off the pituitary anterior lobe. Growth hormone, or GH, somatotropic hormone. That's another name for it, somatotropic. Okay, but it controls bone and tissue growth and regulates metabolism. That's what it does.
Where'd you write that from?
I read that from right here under. You see where it says pituitary gland in the box?
Uh-huh.
Under hormones,
Okay.
it says growth hormone.
Okay.
Somatotropic hormones. Growth hormones is also known as somatotropic. It stimulates the growth of bones, tissues, and regulates metabolism. Remember, metabolism is a mixture of catabolism and anabolism, right? And the using of these substances. So that's growth by definition too. Any questions on growth hormone? Okay. Can you think of any diseases that you can get with growth hormone? If you have some type of tumor or too much production of hormone, you get gigantism. Okay, you guys know that guy Silva. It's a heavyweight in the UFC. Okay, they call him Bigfoot Silva. His jaw's like out to here. He's not a good fighter, but he's so big that once he lands one good shot, you're done because his knuckles are like that big. Anyway, that's gigantism. Okay, if you don't have enough, you have another type
And that's
of disease.
considered what? Like a disease, right?
Yeah, that's a disease. We're only talking about this here, but I'm just showing you an example that these things we're all lucky that it's all regulated, you know? But some people, it goes out of whack. If you get a little hormone or a cyst in the pituitary gland, it's going to produce more, or probably more, okay? If it starts atrophying, wasting away, if the hypothalamus is messed up, it doesn't send the messages to the pituitary gland, then it's going to be a diminished amount of secretion, so you might not grow as much. You guys ever seen short people? Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Any questions on the growth hormone? Just know what it does. Growth hormone aids in you getting bigger. Okay. What other hormone do we have? Let's see. Thyroid stimulating. We talked about follicle stimulating, luteinizing, interstitial, prolactin. Okay, let's talk about the posterior lobe now. Alright, posterior pituitary gland. The cool thing about this one is there's only two. Okay? There's only two. And Miss Jessica, as you see, oxytocin also deals with mammary glands because they all work together. It's not like just one specific one. Like I said, it doesn't take like one Passover to memorize this stuff. You really have to keep studying and studying because they all work together. And that's the complexity of the endocrine system. And yet it keeps homeostasis. So, if we talk about posterior lobe, you just want to look at them. It's going to be ADH and oxytocin. Those are the main ones, okay? But let's look at them here because it also tells you what it does. Okay, on page 205. Let's talk about ADH first. Antidiuretic hormone. When have you seen this before?
In the kidneys.
That's right. And the kidneys. You signed the kidneys, right? What does antidiuretic hormone do?
It doesn't release hormone?
No, the opposite.
The fluid,
It
no
doesn't
fluid.
release.
Oh,
the
I'm wrong.
what? You said hormone, no. What did you say? You said you were
I
wrong.
said fluid.
Yeah, it doesn't release the fluids. That's correct. Yeah. Diuresis or diuretic means expulsion of fluids, right? Anti-diuretic means anti-expulsion of fluids hormone, also known as vasopressin. Whoops. What does vasopressin do? It raises blood pressure. Makes sense, though, right? Because antidiuretic hormone, vasopressin. It's also known as vasopressin, okay? All right. And we saw this in the kidneys, okay? It's released by the kidneys, okay? I'm sorry, antidiuretic hormone is sent from the pituitary gland to the kidneys to retain fluid. You guys remember that? Okay? It goes through the tubules and it says, look, keep some of that sodium because we want to increase the blood pressure. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what the antidiuretic hormone does. Or vasopressin. It says it raises blood pressure, promotes water reabsorption in kidney tubules. It influences the uterus as well. Who knew? Right? It influences the uterus as well. See, they're all interrelated, guys, okay? The main functions of vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone, though, are just to increase the blood pressure by retention of sodium.
So it's a renin?
Excuse me?
Renin?
No, that's a different hormone. That's a different hormone. But they all work in conjunction. Right now we're not talking about renin. This is just antidiuretic hormone. Okay?
It increases blood pressure and...
Yeah. You guys remember when I was talking about... Okay. You guys remember the nephron?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys remember when we had the glomeruli in here all over the place, and then it goes through, and then at some point, depending on what's going on with our body, if our blood pressure is too high or too low, we have a network of capillaries in here. They're all around in here. And through diffusion, it can reabsorb, or it can actually let the minerals go. ADH, which is released from the posterior pituitary gland, it becomes systemic, and it lets your kidneys know, hey, we need to retain fluid. So all that extra sodium that the glomeruli let through, you reabsorb it. You pick it back up because we need to retain fluids. That's what it does. Antidiuretic hormone. That's why it says right there, the reabsorption of fluids. In particular, you know that fluids work with sodium, so that's what ends up going on. Does that make sense? Okay.
So they retain the fluid because of the need of sodium?
Because of the need of water. It just so happens that sodium and water are attracted to each other. So it keeps water, it brings in the sodium because the water comes right back with it. Okay? Antidiuretic hormone. What's the other one? Oxycontin. No, just kidding. Oxytocin. Is that right?
No, it's a C.
Sorry. Oxytocin. What does oxytocin do?
Causes you Contractions.
Ah.
Oh, it's the...
Yeah. You guys ever, those of you that have given birth or that have been around someone that gave birth, if when they induce you, they give you an oxytocin drip. Okay, they give you a little bit of oxytocin. Mind you, we synthesize it, we made it up, we know what's molecularly how it's made up, and we give you a little, and it causes the uterus to contract, therefore, to deliver the baby. Pretty cool, right? Not cool? It hurts? You guys are sissies. It causes uterine contractions, stimulates milk production as well. Remember I talked about that right in the beginning?
Yes.
Okay. It stimulates contractions, also starts a production of milk. After that, prolactin takes over, guys. Okay, but anyway, that's just FYI. So now we know.
What if they were to give that shot to a male,
What if they were to give...
even though he's not in labor?
No, I don't think it's gonna... It's not gonna work because we don't have the same receptors. You know, like the uterus, it has the receptors. It's got the receptors like inside the endometrium. That stimulates the contraction. Males don't have that. I don't know where else it would stimulate. Maybe our gonads. I don't know.
That'll be fun to watch.
Hate men too, huh?
No, I just...
I'm just kidding. Alright, antidiuretic hormone, oxytocin. We've discussed the main hormones that are secreted by the anterior and posterior pituitary gland. You guys know them now. Remember, there's only 2 for the posterior. There's several for the anterior. Okay? Be able to recognize which ones are for the anterior, which ones are released by the posterior. The easiest way to memorize that is just know that these 2 are for the posterior.
The rest are for that.
The rest are going to be, mind you, when it comes to the pituitary gland, okay? I know. We're 1/6 of the way done. But the pituitary gland is the one that has the most hormones, so don't freak out. You guys good or you guys need a little break? You guys good? Because I forget. I don't give you guys breaks during tutoring. I forget. Sorry. So if you guys need a break, let me know. Alright. Let's move on. Alright, so this is, that's a thyroid gland. What stimulates the thyroid gland? Yes. No. What stimulates the thyroid gland? Now what does it release? What stimulates it to release those hormones? The TSH. Yes. Okay, so TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, stimulates the thyroid to release hormones. Okay? Now, we have a couple of them. We have T3, we have T4, and we have calcitonin. I just want to say calzones. Okay?
So the TSH, what?
We have so the TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, stimulates the thyroid gland. Okay? Therefore, the thyroid gland is now going to release its T3, T4, and calcitonin, depending on what the needs are. Let's look at thyroxine, which is T4, okay, the middle one. Regulates body metabolism. It requires iodine. You guys need to know that. T4 requires iodine. Our thyroid gland requires iodine. So again, regulates body metabolism and growth and development. T3 stimulates calcium to leave the plasma and allows it to enter the bones. But understand that T3 and T4 work in conjunction. They work together. Okay? T4 and T3 deal with metabolism and the release of calcium. Now let's look at calcitonin. Calcitonin, or CT, speeds calcium absorption from blood, promotes calcium deposits in bone, inhibits osteoclast, thereby promoting bone formation, stimulates bone to release or reabsorb calcium, and enter the blood, regulates phosphorus balance. Highlight that. Regulates phosphorus balance. Assists in reabsorption of magnesium. All you guys have to know is that calcitonin deals with the regulation of the calcium. Okay, it says a lot of stuff in there, right? We understand that calcium deals with bone growth as well, right? So when we talk about calcitonin, it's exclusively regulating the calcium levels, but it works in conjunction with phosphorus. You guys have to know that as well. Phosphorus. What, you guys, like, where did phosphorus come in? You guys know why phosphorus came in? Remember when we talked about, when we talked about sodium and potassium, how they both have a relationship together, an inverted relationship? Calcium and phosphorus do the same thing. Okay, they have an inverted relationship. So that's why every time you see calcium, that's why it says at the end of that segment that it regulates by regulating phosphorus, because it also, if it decreases phosphorus, what's going to increase? Calcium levels. Okay, that's the hormone calcitonin. That's what it does. Okay, T4 metabolism, T3 metabolism, and the
iodine.
And they both need the thyroid gland needs iodine. Yes, you're right. T3 deals with the release of calcium, but the calcitonin does the regulation. Okay. T3, T4 metabolism, a little bit of calcium. Calcitonin, strictly calcium, works with phosphorus. Okay, any questions on that? What does the thyroid gland need in order for it to work properly? Iodine. It needs iodine. Where do we get iodine from?
Salt.
Salt? What else? Iodized salt?
Seafood.
Yeah, seafood as well. Yeah, seafood. Okay, they say the thyroid gland has an ability to protect you from radiation, from high amounts of radiation. Yeah, but if we give it enough iodine, and the iodine that we consume is not like the pure iodine; it's all synthesized, so it kind of sucks. Anyway, all right, thyroid gland. Any questions on the thyroid gland? What hormone stimulates the thyroid gland?
The T4?
No. Listen to me real quick. What hormone stimulates the thyroid gland?
Thyroid stimulation.
Yeah, the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, so TSH yeah. Okay, then the thyroid gland does its work, depending on what it needs. Metabolism, releases calcium, calcitonin regulates it, working in conjunction with phosphorus. You guys good with that? Okay. If we flip it around, okay, we flip it around, okay, then we have these nodes right here. Look like a butterfly, huh? Anyway, so if we have these nodes right here, what are the nodes called? This is the thyroid, they're onto the sides, they're peripheral to it, so they're called the
Parathyroid.
parathyroid gland. Parathyroid is what it releases. So you have the parathyroid gland. Para is on the sides, okay? Para al lado. For those of you that speak Spanish, for those of you that don't, I am sorry. Alright, so parathyroid gland. They're behind the thyroid gland, there's these four nodes. What do they release, Miss Zaira?
Calcium.
Okay, but what hormone? What hormone do they release? Parathormone. That's right, parathormone. That should be easy to remember, right? Because it's the parathyroid gland. Parathormone. Okay, PTH, parathormone. It says promotes formation of a calcitriol, of calcitriol, and assists in release of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus into blood. Okay, that's why the parathyroid gland and the thyroid gland work together. Okay, this one has a role very similar to T3, which releases the calcium, but this also regulates phosphorus and magnesium. Okay, so it deals with the release the release of electrolytes. Okay, and the regulation of the calcium. Okay, it deals with phosphorus as well.
Doesn't it do the same as the front?
Actually, it does. I told you it's very similar to T3, which is one of the trioxine, one of the hormones that the thyroid gland secretes. Okay. What you guys have to know, what it does, regulates calcium and phosphorus levels, magnesium as well. And it pretty much is like piggybacked on the thyroid gland. It helps out the thyroid gland with the function as well. Okay? But you have to know that the parathyroid gland releases parathormone. Parathormone does what I just said. Hold on, guys. Okay. Any questions on this stuff? So what does, let's see. What does parathormone do?
It releases calcium, magnesium.
That's right. And phosphorus, yeah. In the blood, that's right. What's calcitriol?
It regulates the phosphorus.
No. Calcitriol, I hate that word because it tells you nothing about what it really does. Remember how it's talking about active and inactive vitamin D? I talked about that yesterday, I don't know if you guys remember. It's a form of active vitamin D. So that, with the parathormone, because of the calcitriol, it can actually absorb the calcium. Remember, we could go out there and be in the sun and consume vitamin D, but there's an active and an inactive form of vitamin D. Calcitriol actually is an active form of vitamin D, and it helps the absorption into the bone. I'm not going to test you on calcitriol, but it's there. So just know what it is. What else do we have, guys?
Thank you.
Let's talk about the pancreas. When you guys are at home reading, and if you guys don't, like if you guys saw calcitriol and you didn't know what it was, look it up. Look it up at least so you can have a vague understanding, because when you guys see calcitriol as a potential answer in the question, and you don't know what it is, you're gonna be inclined that maybe that's the answer. Okay? Yeah. What did I say we're gonna go over now?
Pancreas.
Pancreas, okay. Pancreas. Endo and exocrine. We know what exocrine does. Pancreatic juices. Let's talk about endocrine form. Okay, the pancreas releases a couple things. Right here, it outlines them on page 205. Okay. Let's see. Let's focus on glucagon and insulin. Miss Nam, what does glucagon do? What does glucagon do? It's right there in your paper. What does glucagon do? Okay, glucagon increases BS, or blood sugar. Okay? Glucagon does that. Gluco talks about sugar. Glucagon raises the blood sugar, okay? Ms. Zyra, what does insulin do?
Lowers blood sugar.
It decreases BS, or blood sugar. Okay? Those are the two main hormones that we're going to be discussing in the endocrine system, not the exocrine. The other two deal with digestive enzymes. Okay, pancreatic juices that we're not really going to talk about right now. Okay, but you have to know that though, glucagon and insulin. Hi. Hide her. Nah, just kidding. You taking notes? You gotta take notes. She's like, she's cute.
Like I just got out of school.
And, go somewhere with that shit. Alright, anyway. Glucagon brings up blood sugar. Insulin brings it down. What cells are responsible for releasing glucagon? Now, inside the pancreas looks like a messed up fish. Okay? Inside the pancreas we have a lot of cells. Okay? Which cells release glucagon?
Alpha cells.
Okay, alpha. Okay. And which ones release insulin? Beta. Okay. Know this. Know this, please. Okay. Know this for NLN, for NCLEX. Know it for that. I don't think I test you on this, but please know it. Okay. Think of it like this. Blood sugar first goes up, then blood sugar goes down, right? So if the blood sugar first goes up, it's alpha cells. And then insulin is there after, beta, B for beta. Okay, that's how we're going to memorize that. Okay? I'm not going to write these up here, but the testes produce what? It's something else. We're done with this. I'm sorry. Testosterone. Okay, testosterone. And what does testosterone do?
Develop male sex characteristics.
Male sex characteristics. If we look at myself and Victor and Mr. Jason's a little pretty, but still. We all look manly. We all look manly, right? We have this, no, really, we just look like manly dudes. Okay, that's how we look like. But you look at a female's face, it's a little different. A little more narrow, a little soft features, okay? That's what testosterone does for us. It gives us a lot of hair, it gives us a deeper voice, it gives us a male characteristics, okay? Broad shoulders and all that stuff. You don't want to see a girl that looks like a linebacker, right? Okay? But we have them. So anyway, estrogen, on the other hand, is produced in the ovaries, right? Estrogen and progestins regulates female sex characteristics, functions, and menstruation. You see how now we have progesterone that does the same thing? It's several hormones that do the same thing. That's why I say sex. That's why I say sex. Because if it's sex, it could be breast, it could be menstruation, it could be, because that's still talking about the sexual organs. That's why I say sex. Okay? Regulates female characteristics. What female characteristics are we talking about?
What you
Breast.
said?
Yeah, for female. What sexual characteristics
Breast.
does females have? Breasts. Okay, breast is exclusive, at least large breasts like that, you know,
Well,
for
men
females.
don't have.
Well, males don't have, some males don't. I say it's not, I'm not laughing. This is serious stuff, guys. We're nurses here, okay? So, but yeah, some men have breasts, but it's different. You know,
Menstruation.
females have breasts, men don't menstruate, okay? The body fat is distributed differently in male than it is in female. That's how when there's a gender, when men become females and stuff like that, you could see the difference. That's why they have to have liposculpture, because the fat's distributed different. Once females are postmenopausal and they stop producing estrogen, your fat that you have also redistributes differently. When you're young, it goes to the places that you like. Once you get older, it distributes differently. Okay, I'm serious. That's what estrogen does. Why do you think it does that?
It must be mean.
No, for finding a mate. Okay, for finding a mate. Throughout history, as we've been developing, we like to see like physically fit people. So you guys ever notice, you women, you look at somebody, if they're really buff and fit, even if they're not that handsome, but if they like stand straight and stuff like that, they're attractive to you, right? Because that means that the offspring that they, she's all like, oh yeah. The offspring that they give out are probably going to be also fit and healthy. That's the whole, yeah. So anyway, that's why females as well develop breasts and some of them butts and all that stuff.
But
And
isn't it the same for the men to develop the breast and they also produces some kind of milk?
No. The milk, it's an inactive form. The milk is not something that's supposed to be happening. That's for men that have hormonal issues, meaning they're producing too much of a certain hormone. But now it's acting on the male, but can I nourish my child with that?
No.
You can't. But yeah, it does happen. That's why I was talking about that in the beginning. It does happen. It's not supposed to happen. Usually happens with men that have some type of deficiencies. Usually heavier men as well. Okay? All right. We talked about gonads. Know that gonads, I'm referring to testes or ovaries, okay? Thymus. What does the thymus do?
Regulates temperature.
No, that's a hypothalamus. The thymus is a gland that we have on our chest. Okay, you guys should read up on this. I want to let you know what it does, though. Okay, it deals with immunity, T cells. When we do immunology in third or fourth term, you're gonna be discussing T cells. T cells are the ones that deal with your immunity. Patients who are HIV. We give them the classification of AIDS once their T cells are below a certain number. Okay, that's how. So the T cells deal with immunity. Okay, that's what the thymus does. And the pineal gland. What does the pineal gland do?
Sleep.
Releases.
Sleep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, melatonin. Okay, and it deals with regulating sleep, but we really don't know what it does. Okay, that's that. That's the fact.
So people with insomnia would drink this, right?
People with insomnia would take melatonin. Yeah. Alright, I'm not gonna go over the renal system because I'm tired. Okay. I think I went over. I covered it yesterday. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna ask you guys specific questions that might be of interest to you guys.
Okay, wait, give me 1 second.
Miss, would you like to take this back
Yeah, right now.
later?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have just a quick question.
Yeah.
So if you have like thyroid cancer and they remove the thyroid,
Mhm.
that will affect the metabolism?
Yes, ma'am. But that's why we have medications. You guys ever heard of a medication called? It's called the same hormone, levothyroxine. Okay. We have several medications that we give, and remember, they're not. The endocrine system is a ductless system. So take it, it becomes systemic. It's the same thing as the thyroid gland. Unfortunately, since the body works on a negative feedback system, meaning it's continuously seeing if it's in that range, it's really hard to maintain that level. You're still going to have ailments. People that have a thyroidectomy, they're still going to have ailments. And then now you have to deal with the parathyroid gland as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, so the only thing that we really can't survive with for a long time is the pancreas. If you get pancreatic cancer, you're done. You're done. You guys, what's his name? That actor from Roadhouse.
Even Steve Jobs also got the.
They killed him. But yeah, he got some type of cancer. What's that guy that got cancer from Roadhouse?
What's Roadhouse?
Oh, come on, man. You guys don't know? How old are you guys? I'm 28. I know about Roadhouse.
What is that? It's a show?
You serious? I watch Family Guy. Roadhouse is, what's that guy's name?
I don't like Family Guy.
Yeah, I don't like Family Guy.
Yeah.
Vulgar.
It's one of the smartest shows on TV.
It's exactly
Family
what
Guy?
that is. The end.
It is. It is. But anyway, we're not here to discuss that. And if you guys don't agree with me, I will fail all of you. Okay?
The best show I've ever
The
seen.
best show ever. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Especially when Brian and he died. I'm just kidding.
You know what? One of you guys messed that up for me. Or in the other class. Brian died, and I don't know if it was this class or the other class. I was like, you bastard. That's why YouTube did. Anyway, let's talk about
Wait, what are we going over?
everything, pretty much everything. I usually do this because it's easier, but I had to make sure that you guys know the endocrine system. Read the packet, guys. Please go home and read the packet because you know the information. Like, this is it, guys. What I just showed you didn't memorize all of it, but that's it right there. If you know that in any rendition, you guys are good. Especially the parathyroid gland dealing with the calcium levels, and you know, the thyroid gland needs iodine. Those basic elements, you need to know that. Okay? Know which hormones correspond to which gland. Okay, guys? Don't say that the thyroid, the T3 is for from the pituitary gland. It's not like that. Okay? So know what they correspond to. All right. If I say a male sex gland, which one is that? Yeah, the gonads for the males, right? The testes. What does a male sex gland produce? Huh? It produces testes. It produces what? Testosterone, yeah, it produces testosterone. Okay, guys? Alright, good. If I ask you, I just talked about this, not there, but which gland is responsible for regulating calcium and phosphorus levels?
Regulating what?
Exclusively for regulating calcium and phosphorus levels.
Thyroid?
No, listen. Which gland?
The thyroid.
Yeah, you're right. That's the hormone. But there's another gland aside from the thyroid gland. The parathyroid gland, okay? The parathyroid gland. Be careful if I'm asking you for the gland or the hormone. If I ask you for the gland right now, which gland regulates phosphorus and calcium? It's the parathyroid gland. If I ask you which hormone, it's parathormone and calcitonin.
It has hormone in it.
Okay? Which hormones are released from the posterior pituitary gland? ADH and oxytocin. Good. What does oxytocin do? Uterine contractions. What does ADH do?
Raise the blood pressure.
Raise the blood pressure. What's ADH also known as? Vasopressin. Where is the growth hormone secreted from? Growth hormone. Where is it secreted from? Anterior Pituitary Gland. What does the growth hormone do?
It helps it grow.
Okay, guys.
Elongate.
Mind you. Okay, good. That's like 1,000 questions in one. Good. At what age do kids have voluntary control of urination? Of micturition?
Of what?
Of micturition. You guys know what micturition is? I said it like 5 times.
Yes, that's one of our words.
Yeah. So do the key terms, guys. Please do the key terms to memorize them. Micturition is a fancy word for urinating. Tell my wife this one, babes, I have to go micturate. She's like, what? Oh yeah. She knows what I'm talking about.
18 to 24 months?
18 to 24 months. Okay. What's the difference between endocrine and exocrine gland? What are the differences between the two? Tell me, what is an exocrine is what? They have ducts. I want you guys to remember about that. They have ducts. Okay. Endocrine is what? Ductless. Good. So it becomes systemic real quick. All right, good. What's the tube that carries urine from the renal pelvis to the bladder? The ureters. Okay, ureters. I'm doing both systems right now. Yeah. Blood vessels, nerves, and the renal pelvis enter the kidney through what? You guys know that. Blood vessels, huh?
No, it's the
Hilum.
The hilum.
Thank you. She came out of nowhere. The hilum. Yes, the hilum. Please know, what does a glucocorticoid do? Glucocorticoid. What does it do? First of all, let's go back. Glucocorticoid, medulla or cortex? Cortex. Only epinephrine and norepinephrine from the medulla. So, the cortex, right? Glucocorticoids, what do they do?
Sugar, sweet.
Dealing with sugar, the breaking down or the synthesizing of glucose. That's what it does. Okay? Please know all the functions of your glucocorticoids. Okay? Know all the functions. Write that down somewhere. Know glucocorticoids, put a star by it, and know everything that it does. Because it's not only with sugar. Okay? It's not only with sugar. It regulates a couple of other things, so please read up on that, okay? Alright, which gland is associated with sugar, salt, and sex? The adrenal gland. The adrenal gland. I'm asking you which gland. If I ask you which part of the adrenal gland, then cool. But I'm asking you which gland? The adrenal gland. And yeah, know that it's adrenal cortex. That's fine too. Know what aldosterone is. We talked about it before. Aldosterone. Do you guys remember where aldosterone is secreted from? Where? Yeah, the adrenal gland. Do you remember that? Huh? That's cool. That was early in the lecture yesterday. Okay, no aldosterone. Know what it does? What does it do? Contains sodium. That's right. It's part of the RAA mechanism that we spoke about yesterday. What produces renin in the Bowman's capsule? No. What releases renin in Bowman's capsule? Alright, let's move on. Let's see. Know what aging process can do to the body. You guys come up with it later on. Let me know. Okay, the JGA, guys, the juxtaglomerular apparatus. It releases renin. Renin stimulates angiotensin 2, aldosterone. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys. It's because I know you guys don't. But remember that, though, guys. There's some things that I emphasized that a lot yesterday. So my expectation is for you guys to drill it in your guys' head. Okay? Really memorize it. The juxtaglomerular apparatus releases renin. Renin is part of the RAA mechanism that does what? Blood pressure goes up. Remember, renin is produced when the converting enzyme that we didn't talk about, it turns angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. Angiotensin constricts blood vessels. Okay, so now the whole mechanism is working. Then aldosterone is released. Aldosterone is released because it goes to the tubules and it causes retention of sodium so the blood can expand. Okay? You guys remember that. Then ADH is produced. Where is ADH produced from? Think about this. Just antidiuretic hormone, vasopressin. Where is it released from? Okay, the pituitary gland. Which part? The posterior. The posterior. Good though. Good. Okay. Really, if you guys get together and study, I have my evening class. There's this group of students in the front. I'm not gonna say they're annoying, but they're always doing that. But they always get really good grades in the tests because they're always challenging each other like that. If you guys meet up in groups, do it like that. Play with it because it'll make you a little more sharp. Okay? All right. I'm sorry. Let me see. What gland secretes melatonin? Pineal gland. That's correct. Which hormone regulates basal metabolic rate? Don't get confused with basal, but just metabolic rate. Which hormone deals with metabolism? Oh, come on, guys. Thyroid gland. Yeah, thyroid gland. Yeah, the thyroid gland. Yeah, she threw into the hormones just to make sure I knew she knew. What's the functioning unit of a kidney?
Filtration.
Okay, the functioning unit meaning the nephron. Yeah. Again, when the BP drops low, what are the kidneys going to release? Renin. Mind you, to be specific, it's in the JGA, but it's still the kidneys, right? All right. If at any time my body is excreting sodium, what's going to follow? Water. Okay, good. What does aldosterone do again? You guys laughing, none of you guys are answering.
They're in the adrenal glands, and they reabsorb sodium.
Reabsorb sodium. Good, guys. Good. Mind you, this is like a hard way to do this because you guys have to pull it out of your brain. Multiple choice question is easy. At least that's the goal, for it to be easy when you guys take it. Which of the glands requires iodine? Which of the glands? Yeah, the thyroid gland, the glands. If I was hormones, T3, T4, okay? T4, T3, whichever one it is. But gland is just a gland, okay? Now, I said which gland, right? Which hormone would contain iodine? Thyroxine. T4, yeah, T4. Good. What does the T3 and T4 do in the body? Collectively. Metabolism, good. So if you have low amounts of T3 and T4, is your metabolism going to be high or low?
High.
Low. Yeah, if you have low, yeah, I know you don't. Yeah, and if you guys have high amounts of T3 and T4, your metabolism is going to be
high.
Cool.
So which one is good for being skinny?
Hyperthyroidism. You don't want that though. Your eyes are going to be bulging out. You got moon phase. I'm sorry, the butterfly rash, not the moon phase. That's for something else. All right. Know that the nephron unit is also known as a nephron? Okay, the nephron unit is also known as a nephron. If you have lack of insulin or a deficiency in insulin, what's going to happen to your blood sugar?
It's going to go up.
It's going to go up. Hyperglycemia. What does erythropoietin do?
It helps the production of blood cells.
It helps the production of blood cells. So it stimulates the red bone marrow. Correct? The red bone marrow. Alright, so if aldosterone, what does aldosterone do again? Reabsorb sodium. So if you have a lack of aldosterone, what's going to happen?
You're going to have a lack of sodium.
The lack of sodium in the body. So where's what was that? Low blood pressure. Oh man, you're so good. You're so good. I get excited, guys. I'm sorry. I get excited. Yeah, low blood pressure or low blood volume. Yeah, because if aldosterone is there, you're retaining all that sodium, right? And then if it's not there, you're just excreting it, and your BP drops because when the sodium comes out, what goes with it?
Water.
Water. Okay, good. Let's see. What's the hormone responsible for the secretion of bile? What's the hormone responsible? It's found in the duodenum. Huh? Yeah. What is it? What is it? Cholecystokinin. Yeah. I think you said it the first time. You just got embarrassed. Yeah, cholecystokinin. Okay. I know how to spell it, man. That's an N at the end. Cholecystokinin is a hormone, okay? It's actually found in the duodenum. When the duodenum receives the fat, when it detects all the fat, it sends a message to the bile. Hey, give me some bile. To the gallbladder, excuse me.
So and what is it? What is it?
Cholecystokinin. Excuse me?
It's not in the stomach.
I think it's just in the duodenum. If I'm not mistaken, it's just in the duodenum. It could be in a part of the pylorus, but I don't think so. It's in the duodenum. All right, let's see. You guys remember what atrial natriuretic peptide is?
It's unsaid.
Whoa, no. Because a peptide, right? What's, oops, atrial, okay, relax, relax. Atrial natriuretic. Let's break down this word, guys. Atrial is what? The what? The atrium, right? What's Na? N-A?
Yeah.
Sodium. Okay. Triuretic. Uretic, what's?
Oh, urea.
Urea. Okay. I talked about this a lot. What does this have to do with? Sodium. Talked about chemoreceptors in the past that they detect blood pressure and CO2 regulation, all that good stuff. Atrial natriuretic peptide. Peptide is because of the chemical it is, okay? There's cells inside the atrium of the heart. If it's pumping too hard, this is a cell that says, damn, there's too much water in here. I'm going to send a message to the kidneys to excrete sodium. I talked about this after aldosterone and ADH. You guys remember that? Atrial natriuretic peptide, okay? It's found inside the atrium of the heart, and it lets the heart know that, and it tells the body that, hey, there's too much fluid in here, because you know the RAA mechanism, it's doing all these different things to retain fluid, right, and bring up the BP. But what tells it to stop? This. Okay, this tells it to stop. You have a question? Sorry, that's okay. Just want to make sure. All right. This. Okay. Let's see.
So this helps in regulating.
Huh? This helps in regulate. You tell me. What does this help regulating? Well,
It sends a message.
I want you to figure it out, because like as soon as you do, it's like bam, you're done. We talked about the RAA, and this is not just you, it's everybody. Okay. The RAA mechanism, ADH, okay, aldosterone. All those things are working together to bring up the blood pressure. So you're retaining sodium, you're retaining fluids, right? So now your blood pressure is back to 120/80, bam. But what's it going to tell the body to ace? When is it going to say, okay, stop retaining sodium? Because it's going to go too high.
Too much.
This right here, the atrial natriuretic peptide, is a chemical found inside the atrium of the heart, that if the heart's pumping too hard, it's beyond that therapeutic level, it's stimulated and it releases it, and it sends a message to the kidneys. It says, dump out that sodium. Because if you dump out that sodium, the water goes with it. That's what it is. Does that make sense? We good, Ms. Christina?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Angiotensin, what does that do? Guys, angiotensin. Yeah, but what does it do though specifically?
Stimulates.
Angio is
Oh,
blood vessels, right?
Mhm.
Tensin is constricting. So what does it do?
constrict blood.
It constricts the blood vessels, okay? Does it have anything to do with sodium? It has nothing to do with sodium. This is the only one that has nothing to do with sodium. ADH deals with sodium because it deals with water. When we talked about the atrial natriuretic peptide, that deals with sodium, okay, because it deals with fluids as well. Okay, angiotensin is the only one that really doesn't deal with sodium, okay, and fluids. All right. No, okay, we talked about aldosterone. Know where it exerts its effects, meaning where does it work? Proximal, distal tubules, or the loop of Henle? You guys need to look that up, okay?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, aldosterone, where does it work? In the nephron, where does it work? Proximal, convoluted tubule, the loop of Henle, or the distal tubules? The reason why I'm not telling you which one it is because I don't remember. I think it's the distal convoluted tubules, but I don't remember 100%. And you guys want to hang me after I give you guys an answer that, like, oh, you told me it was this. Sorry. Guys, if we have blood vessels going afferent, and then it leaves efferent, what's in between afferent and efferent? What Bowman's capsule, but the blood vessels, glomeruli. Know that the kidneys deal with regulation of blood or hematopoiesis. Okay. They also deal with regulation of fluids. Okay. They also deal with bone mineralization. Okay. Know all the functions of the kidneys. What do they do? Okay. Please know them. You guys hungry? No? Why lie, huh? Okay, which gland produces steroids? Adrenal medulla or adrenal cortex?
What was your question?
Which gland produces steroids? The medulla or the cortex?
Medulla.
Is epinephrine and norepinephrine a steroid?
Yes.
Remember the cortex, glucocorticoids, corticoids, and mineralocorticoids? The cortex.
Okay, so which one was it?
Moving on.
No, you said the epinephrine and norepinephrine was from the medulla.
Yeah, I know. That's not what I asked, though.
Oh, what you asked?
I was wondering. You were so sure. I asked which of the ones, which one produces steroids, the medulla or the cortex?
It's a cortex.
It's the cortex. The medulla produces epinephrine and norepinephrine, which are called catecholamines. The steroids, which are the glucocorticoids, because remember, corticoids are steroids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids. Those are steroids. Know the definition of your glomerular filtration rate, GFR. Okay, know the definition. Know what the rate is. I talked about it yesterday. I think it's 100 and I forgot what it is. Okay, excuse me? Yeah, it's where it starts. Where in the glomeruli it starts pulling out all the particles. Yeah, that eventually gets converted into urine. That's right. Know the specific gravity, guys. Know, write down specific gravity. Write it down. Know specific gravity. Know what the values are. I talked about them yesterday. Know what the urine looks like if the patient is dehydrated. Okay. Know what the gravity is if the patient is dehydrated. The gravity is very sensitive, meaning the average is like 1.0? Yeah, like 1.0 or something. And if it's like, if it's like point something off, it's like the patient's, it's out of whack now. Know when you're dehydrated. Know what's the urine going to look like if you're dehydrated? Amber, dark yellow, right? What happens if you leave it out for a while? What's the smell like? Bless you.
Ammonia.
Ammonia. Have you guys ever smelled urine like that?
Yes.
Why did I always smell urine like that? Oh, I was a bad CNA, guys. I would wait to empty out the Foley bags till like the end of the day.
Yeah, that's where I smelled it from. 'Cause
Yeah.
I did a catheter and it was backing up on the
tubes?
On the tubes.
It's bad.
And when you empty it, oh my God. And you can tell like the bacteria.
The
and
sedimentation? Yeah, that's horrible. Posterior Pituitary Gland secrete two hormones. Which are they?
Oxy and ADH.
Oxy and ADH. Good. Oxytocin and ADH. Know what the islets of Langerhans are. Bless you. Islets of Langerhans. They're found in the pancreas, but just know what they are. Know what they produce.
What is the last word? Langerhans or hands?
Langerhans. H-A-N-S.
What do you do?
Yeah, know what they do. They do. They're in the pancreas. They produce something. So know what those are cells. Those are specialized cells. You guys know what hirsutism is? Hirsutism is something you're gonna find in the endocrine chapter. Hirsutism is when women grow hair like me. Well, I know it's not a lot, but you know, they when women grow a lot of facial hair.
How do you spell it?
Hirsutism, Hirsutism.
TSM?
TISM. Hirsutism. Yeah, lack of hormones, lack of estrogen, and the testosterone increases a little bit. So boom. Remember, estrogen gives you your female sexual characteristics, right? You know, everybody has hair, guys. Okay, I know some of you guys go and wax it off and stuff like that. I get it. It's happened before. But I'm talking about hair. I'm talking about hair, like it puts me to shame. Like man, I wish my beard was like hers. Okay, like that. That's what I'm talking about. Well, it happens usually. All women get it once they get older. Okay. Now, how do they deal with it? How do they shave it? They wax it.
No, I don't know. I'm asking you.
No, I'm letting you know. Shaving it is bad. Have it waxed or threaded.
Shave it.
Threaded is pretty good. It hurts, but yeah. I don't do my eyebrows or anything like that. It's all natural, but I have all my friends do it. I think it's retarded. But anyway, it is, right? So yeah, hirsutism. Hirsutism. Okay. What's your daughter's name?
Sierra.
Sierra Leone. Do you spell it like the singer or like the country?
CIA.
Okay. Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone.
No way. Oh man, I named my kid after rappers too. I mean, they're singers, but yeah. All right. Yeah, I named him Snoop Dogg. If I asked you guys which gland secretes TSH, Adrenocorticotropic Hormone, and growth hormone, which is it?
Anterior.
Anterior Pituitary Gland. Man, that's good.
Oh, somebody's calling me.
Oh. Dia, dera, so. Let's see. Which hormone that we discussed briefly that's responsible for the sleep-wake cycle?
Melatonin.
Okay, that's the gland. Which hormone? Melatonin. Okay, good.
So practically we just have to memorize this.
Yeah, you practically memorize everything. Really, that's all it is, guys, really. What will the thyroid stimulating hormone not,